All right, Georgia Jim sent me this behemoth of a lock, the Mul-T-Lock Omega Plus. I'll probably do this in two parts, one where I pick and gut it, and then the other where I fully disassemble and reassemble it, because this 9-pin lock has construction bitting. So there's two keys. One, which will do that with the dead bolts, and then one for the latch, like that. But if you use this key, it will drop two construction bearings out permanently, and then this first key will no longer work. I had picked this when I first got it and dropped one of the two construction bearings, in which case neither key worked anymore. So I had to fully take it apart, get it working again. You can't even gut it with the key at that point. I could pick it again and hope to drop the other bearing, but that would require a lot more knowledge of what's going on in there, and I had no clue what was going on in there. There is a center post in this. You can see there's an opening on here. And that center post is actually not fixed to the plug, and so it wiggles quite a bit and robs you of a lot of your feedback. This faceplate, the metal here is loose onto a plastic piece there, and that's always going to be the case no matter how you have this mounted. But the plastic piece could be mounted more solidly with some screws that didn't come with it, and I was too lazy to get any. But in any case, those would probably be mounted to a door further out like this. And so one of the things is this is really hard to tension and pick because of how this is built. And if it's further out, which is kind of cool, these keys, they flip so you can get more range to use it. You'd be using longer tension or longer pick, and it'd be even more difficult to feel anything. So overall, should be pretty solid. If you pick this, probably best if you just put a top of keyway tensioner like this, and don't let it pop out like that. Let me go pick that up. Because you can put a lot more force on it and get more feedback from the pins. I'm gonna go ahead and use this this wiper insert that I used for some other picks. It has like this shape on the front, which goes in there nice. I don't know what this gouge was for, but I just added this gouge here, and that will clear the faceplate if I do it like that, right? To pick this, I brought down one flag with me, so I have this flag. And this flag doesn't quite get around the corners too well, so it'll get stuck, and then I'll have to kind of jiggle it if I want to get it to the full 90 degrees. But that only matters if I have like a really high lift, and I don't think there's a lot of those in here. I picked this like a week ago, and it's been just sitting in the vise waiting for me to film it, and I've been kind of dreading it. So I haven't been picking at all because it's been occupying the vise. So anyways, we'll go ahead and pick this. That won't work, so we'll reach around the back like this. Oh, hopefully I can do this. Let's see if I can. Hold on, I'm gonna get some tools here, and I'm gonna see if I can optimize this a little bit. See if that helps at all. I don't know if it does. And I guess I'll reach around the back. Hopefully I can put enough tension. So I kind of memorized which ones to work on, because it took a long time just jiggle testing this. Like I said, that middle thing robs a lot of feedback and it wiggles around a lot. So it took a lot of time just carefully jiggle testing, which I won't bother doing today. So we'll go ahead and start on the right side. I'm pretty sure it's pin number 3 to start with. Yeah, that feels binding. And I'll be quiet when I pick the pin because the feedback's really subtle. And right now I'm stuck. I can't turn further, so I gotta kind of finagle it for this high lift. There we go. I think that was it. So that's that one on the right side. Now I'll go off to the left. And if I had the top of keyway tensioner, I could also go from the bottom like this and turn this way, which would be a lot easier. But as is, because the tensioner is in the way, I have to go from the top, and there's a bigger gap because the tensioner is pushing that center post out of the way. And so this is actually a little bit more difficult. But let's see what I can feel. And I can't see anything either. I might put on some magnifiers so I can see. All right, seems like first pin. I'm slipping off of it as I try to push it. There we go, first pin, I got a click out of it. Second pin I think is, where's that third? Right, come on. Second pin. Third pin, let's see. Second pin. Third pin. I think I got a little something from the third pin. Second pin. Second pin I don't think is binding. Let's try the top. I'm like sliding my fingernail on this tensioner. I would like to put a lot of tension if possible. Get better feedback from the pins. But it's hard with this. Don't do it with a wiper insert. It's kind of... it leaves the top open for easier picking, but it robs you of a lot of feedback because you can't give a lot of tension. All right, up top. Third pin up top. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. First pin. Third pin. I think I got a little something from the third pin. Second pin. Doesn't feel binding. Let's try this left again. Not feeling my pins very well right now. All right, second pin. I think I got something on the second pin there. Come back again. Yeah, let's check the top again. Second pin. All right, I think I got a little something from the second pin there. Let's check the right side. First pin, no. Nope, nothing on the right side. It's got to be something on the top, I think. I keep pulling it out because I like you slide around a lot and I get off the pins and I lose where I'm at. If I'm quiet, it's because I'm trying to listen for where I'm at because I can't see a thing. People are messaging me. All right, left side. Ow, that hurts. Oh, what was that? Uh-oh, what was that? It makes a big chunk like that when I drop into my false set, so maybe I'll drop into the false set, but usually I have to touch the second pin on the right side. But the second pin on the right side I haven't feel binding, but you can, I did touch it, so it might already be set. Meaning I don't have to touch it to get the false set. Pin 3. Pin 2. Alright, I mean we can start seeing if the spools will set. I'm not feeling it. I'll start seeing if I can set a spool. All right, so I got this this hook. Is it bent? I guess I just like that. Just a thicker pick, basically. It's from Sparrows and SS Dev, the wider ones. All right, we'll try this first one on the right. I'll let go of a lot of tension and see if we get counter rotation lifting this first one. I think that was it. Top one. I think that might have been it. Maybe, I'm not sure. All right, let's see if those are the only two spools I think that I know of. Let's see if we can open. No, doesn't seem like it. So let's see if we drop something or if those are not set or something else is binding. The false set doesn't really turn the plug very much, so it's hard to tell. All right, first one on left side. Second pin, third pin, right side. Second pin. Okay, so that's the false set noise right there, the second pin that I was mentioning. But I might have already preset the spools at this point, which would mean we're just open. I'm just going to see if I can feel if those are, if I can feel them set or not. All right, that first one on the right might not be set. First one on the top I think is set. First we'll check if we're open, and if not, then we'll check that right side first pin. Indeed, I think we're open. Look, you need all this force. Don't pick this clockwise because it's such a pain. Counterclockwise is way easier. You don't have to deal with all this spring force that you're dealing with right here. So let's see. Let's take this tensioner out the way, or we'll leave it and just open it, and hopefully not break my tensioner here. You need a way to turn this even stronger at this point, and I don't have anything, but you can definitely see that this is moving, that's moving. You see that? So we're open. Just need a way to turn it even further. And I guess if you were picking this for real, you'd be prepared with a better turning tool than what I have here. I think like a proper screwdriver would be good. I only have these precision screwdrivers. Let's see. And I don't want to mess up Jim's lock. But there we go. Turned it further. I think I heard the ball bearings drop right there. So yeah, that's about as far as it goes. So we're open. We'll go ahead and gut it. And in fact, I think I might have heard ball bearings drop. So let's see if the key doesn't work. Oh, upside down. It's not gonna work upside down, obviously. Oh, won't work right side up. All right, so we didn't drop any ball bearings, so we could gut it with the key at least now. I don't know why it's rough. It's probably I got the faceplate off center. This faceplate got off center, and that messed with the key. So since we're going to take it all the way apart, let's go ahead and drop the construction ball bearings as well while we're at it. So this is the other key. You can use it like that, and then you shouldn't be able to use the first key. It might be you have to go the other way though to do it. I don't know how I dropped it the first time then. If that's the case, must have to go the other way. Let's drop them. So if I do that, now this guy doesn't work because I've dropped the ball bearings. So I don't know how I dropped it the first time I picked it. Very odd. Anyways, let's go ahead and take this guy apart. Big old guy. Ooh. Take that out of there. I had to move this camera and all kinds of stuff to get this working. Just some autofocus here. All right. So first things first, screws. I don't remember if there's one under here. I think there is. But this, like normally the plastic would be attached, and you could just pop this this guy off like that. And there's that plastic. There's 2 screws that could go here. And then others. So you'd have these 6 screws that could go into the door. These 2 could actually go all the way through because there's 2 holes that those will pass through. This will come off because it's only taped on. And if there's no screw under here, you don't need to pop that off. Okay, so you don't need to pop that off. So when this goes to Darkly and Dr. Hogmaster, you guys don't need to take this off because it's going to eventually stop sticking. Hopefully that will stay. Any screws you see, take them off. So let's go ahead and take some screws off. Come up with some system to know what screws go where. So for the first 5 on this side, since it goes on the side of the faceplate, I'm going to keep them in the faceplate. Now, when you're picking this, you could take the inner part out and maybe pick it rather than having this whole big thing. And then on this side, there's a screw here. All right, so to keep track of that, it's the second step. So I'll put that there. I like to keep them in like sorted order. And take it off this way around. There's going to be things falling and stuff like that. I'll show you what those are in a minute and try to see if I like this side. Yeah, this side's the good side. Okay, so what happened here? These fall over a lot. So you got 4 of these, okay? And then this part came apart, which there's a rod there and a hole. So it kind of is self-explanatory that there's a hole and a rod here. That goes back on there. And, oops, don't lose that spring. And there's a piece here there's like a hole for this square piece here. But we'll cover all that when we go through reassembly. And that will go like that. One of the harder parts is when you're reassembling is to get all these things to stay, and you put this piece on. And it's also full of grease, and I didn't bring down a napkin or anything. So don't need to worry about a lot of these things, but you know, these all come out and fall over. What we're interested in is this bit. And we could take this piece off here. Don't lose that spring. So that spring we can just leave behind there. And now we got the grease everywhere. We can get this whole big thing out the way. I like to keep these standing, but not really needed. All right, so we got this piece here. There's screws here and here. If you have keys that still work, then I think you only need to take these 2 screws off. I'm trying to see if I have something to put this on, because there's grease everywhere. All right. In which case you'd only need to take these 2 pieces off, 2 screws off. But we'll do the whole thing, but I might do it after to show the full disassembly and reassembly, like I said. So there's those 2 screws and then this piece. Now, since you got that off, you can use the key, in this case the construction key, because we dropped the construction bits, and you can gut it. All right, so put that in, and you can see that comes out like that. If you screwed up and weren't able to use the key, you can take this screw off, open the whole thing up, and this outer area will come out fully. And the springs are all there, so the springs are going to shoot out. You want to catch those. They probably won't shoot out. There's so much grease in here, it's going to hold them. And you can gut it from the outside, and then you can pull this core out, this plug out, right? So you can pull the whole core out by removing this screw and taking the whole thing apart. There's gears and stuff in here, I think, so you need to keep track of all that. We'll do that in the full gut. But for now, you can see what I was mentioning about this centerpiece being just loose in there. It wobbles back and forth, and that robs a lot of your feedback. When you're picking these, you see I was going like this, and I would get pinched, like I'd push the pin up some like that. Let me see if I can get in here. So I would go to push the pin up, right? But I can only push it up that far because I get pinched, and I have to figure out a way to rotate in like that. So if you have a curved pick, that might help to rotate in like that, right? So I get stuck like this all the time, and I can't lift it higher until I rotate around. So it makes it difficult. I think my youngest is home now. Okay. And to gut this, well, you would need a fat follower. And I didn't do this before because I was gutting it from the outside. But you can just use, the cool thing about this is that the plug is long enough, it only has pins on the front, and it has an equal size back half to it, that you can use the plug itself as a follower, as long as you catch all the key pins, right? All right, so there we can see one of the construction ball bearings, As we pull it out further, there we go. There's all the key pins. And there's a little thing that falls out the bottom. So what we'll do is we'll pull it out and we'll what will we do? Trying to think of. All right. Well, you can do it that way. What we're going to do is we're going to gut it from the outside. You can take out this bottom piece here. Came out before, but now it's shy. Oh, there we go. That, see this piece here? So you got to remember that that goes in there. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up and gut it from the outside, since we have a little bit of time. There are pins here. They'll come out of one of the sides. This side, in case they fall out, that's where they go. They go with the bunch of shape on top rather than on the bottom. You don't need to pull those out. Just showing what it's about. One side is better than the other. I think this side you want faced up. And now that you've gotten that screw out, you should be able to open this up. So to open this up like that. Actually, let me give you a little room. Let's open that up a little. Be a little uniform about it, just to not bend any pins or anything if there's anything. All right, so that comes out like that. Okay, and you can see there's these gears. And you might worry about getting them aligned because they're keyed in specific directions, right? So this one too, you see how it has a gap there? All you do is when it's in the locked position, you want that gap on this inner gear to, this metal piece here has to fit into that gap there, like that. It's the only way it can fit, all right? And when you turn the key, like this, everything flies out. I was going to show you what happens, all right, but I can show you now. There's a spring that sits underneath. Take this gear back out. Spring that sits underneath there. This piece here has a slot in it for that spring, like this. See, the spring's there. It's going to go on there, and you got to compress that spring to get it in here. You're going to have this. Don't have a heart attack, Jim. This is, I know what I'm doing. See, it turns like that. Okay. I lost the spring again, but let's go ahead and lock this up so it stops bouncing around. All right. Pull that gear out the way. Pull that back out since I didn't lose it. But since the spring has already popped out, we'll take this piece out the way. And there's grease everywhere. It's just gross. Okay, so now that you have this out, you can gut this this lock from the outside. All right, so now that whole piece moves, right? I think you can take this gear off too if you want to get it out the way. There we go. Got that gear out the way. All right, so let's go ahead and gut this from the outside. I showed you how to do it from the inside, now from the outside. So when you pull this up, you're going to have springs. There's one went. I'm going to try to keep them all from flying out with my fingers around the outside. 1, 2, 3. 3 shot out. And you see the springs all sticking out now. Now we want a follower. I mean, not follower. Now we want a pinning tray. I know this looks like a great old mess. I did drop one spring I'll have to find. It went over there, easy enough. So if you're doing like this, I would suggest doing it in a plastic bag or inside a box or something like that. But we'll pull out some of these springs. I did notice some of them are a little misshapen from Jim's escapades. But we'll just pull them out. They're all the same, so it doesn't matter which chamber. Come on. All right, 5 minutes left in the filming, so I'll quickly get this out and I'll do a second section about reassembly and maybe opening up further, but I just want to show the pins before the time runs out, so might rush it a little, especially if springs keep getting stuck together like this. Now there's only 9 pins, but there's going to be 12 springs, I want to say. 3, 6, 9, 11, 1 on the floor over there, which I'll pick up in between. And there are these 2 pins, okay, that go in either side. You see the 2 pins there? They're just like this, and what they do is just align to this slot and that slot, and all the springs go down in these areas. Alright, so now we got all the springs out, we can go ahead and start removing pins. There are 2, I had to put one over here, 2 of these O-rings. I don't know exactly what these are for, but they sit on the front like this, okay, in case they fall out. You got 3 springs there, 3 springs there. So these 3 pins, they're not, see, they don't align to any bitting on the key. So I think that's where maybe the construction ball bearings would normally come from. I don't know. So at this point, you can gut it out through these holes, or you could use the key like so. Oh, it's not, yeah. If you did use the key, you're gonna have to go and push down on all the chambers so that the key pins are not blocking you from gutting, and then you could gut through there. There's one of those ball bearings. The ball bearings are quite small, so like that. All right, let's get some key pins. So the third one on the left has a ball bearing like that. Come on, so much grease in here. And if you don't know where the other ball bearing goes, you just put the key in, and you can see third one on the left needs a ball bearing there. And you can keep looking around, pushing down, nothing. And we get to the right side, and you can see that the second one on the right here needs a ball bearing. So it's the second one on the right. I don't think that's right, but when we go back to the first key, you can see, oh, it's the second one on the left. So there's 1 ball bearing for each key, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, you can see how deep that one is, hopefully, that needs it. 2 minutes left. All right, let's get some pins out here. It might have to continue into the next video, and you'll just have to trust me that I didn't do a switcheroo. All right, so there we go. It's first one. It's like a mushroom pin. So a lot of them are like that. If you overset, you're gonna encounter that. Second one is just a standard pin, and a lot of banging because there's so much grease in here. All right, top pins. 1, 2. That's the second one of these. I'm gonna put these over here. They're just, I'm not sure what those are yet. Maybe we'll explore what those are. They're the extra row of pins. All right, right side, number 1. Right side, number 2. Got 1 minute left. I would like to get to some of the driver pins before time runs out. There's the key pins. There are the 2 more weird ones. There's the first one and the third one. I think that these are the catchers for the ball bearings, but I could be wrong. All right, get to some, at least 1 key pin. All right, left number 1, left number 2. Oh, sorry, not key pins, driver pins. Left number 3. Oh my gosh, my hands are filthy now. Left number 2. All right, the top number 1 is the interesting one right before we run out of time, in that this is the spool. Top number 1, and then there's a spool on top number, right number 1 as well. All right, so time runs out. I'm going to start it over. All right, started it over. I did drop one more key pin, number 2 up top. 2 up top. No, yeah, 2 up top, and then number 3 up top. 3 up top. Go. So much grease. All right, the right side pins right here. The good thing is they don't fall out, because all the grease. Right side number 3. Right side number 2. And I noticed about the 2. Number 2 has a little tiny serration around it. I don't know why. I don't know if it does anything. I don't feel it when I'm picking it. And number 1 has the spool. There's the spool for number 1. Stuck to the tweezers with grease. Okay, then we got these 3 oddballs. And I gotta find that one spring. Alright, so can't even get the pick in there, and I didn't bring a... Alright, there's number 3. That actually goes here. These actually go with the right side pins there. Let's move these all over one. Okay. So left pins, top pins, right pins, and then the upper left pins are here. That I'm not sure what their purpose is. Like I said, I think they are for catching the ball bearing, but I could be wrong. Pin 1. Oh my gosh, so much grease. And the third one. And the middle one. Okay, arrange these pins a little so we can take a look, and then we'll go on to reassembly. If I get them not to stick, I'd be happy. So that's the front of the lock to the left, front of the lock to the left. So those are pins. I don't want to touch the camera with all this grease, but here we go. All our pins. We do need to recover that one that I dropped to reassemble. So this might take me a second, especially because I don't have my magnet down here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pause and go get my magnet, I think. Alright, so I'm gonna pause, grab my magnet. There's a wall here, so it can there's only like a 6 inch by 1 foot area it could be. So I'll pause and I'll be right back with that spring. Alright, that only took a second to find, but I think I bumped the tripod while I was searching for it. So I might have moved the camera angle just a little. But here it is. As greasy as ever. Alright, reassembly. The easiest way probably is to not, well, I'm trying to think. Since you have it all the way apart, you could assemble it through the outside, which is what I did before, or you could drop this in here, right? I want the front. So these pins are towards the back. You'll notice if you put these pins in here, it'll be easy to tell which one's front. If you put it in upside down, it's only going to go in that far, right? It's not going to go all the way in. If you put it in the right way around, it'll get everything flush. So what you could do is you could do it like this, right? And then you could put it back together. Oh yeah, you also need to worry about this dot will be on the bottom side, and you'll notice that you're correct because you'll have your pins lining up with that spring area. See? If you had it upside down, they would all be down here and you'd know you're wrong. So you could do this and then populate it like a standard lock, in that you could use this as your follower here. See, it's nice. See, they're all exposed and this gets all the way to there. So you could use this follower and put all your springs and drivers in and push this, push this, push this, push this. Then you can put all your key pins in and you have a lock, right? Let's do it that way. The easiest way to do it that way is probably with a vise. Yeah. I just want to make sure that I'm coming in from the right side, that this is indeed the front of the lock. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and do it that way. I'm trying to think if I want to assemble more of it, because if I do it this way, as you're assembling it, you could see that could happen, right? But maybe we do it that way anyways. Grab the vise, zoom us out a little, disconnect. No, I don't need to disconnect. So what I can do, put it in like this. Yeah, do disconnect my audio, and I'll have it like that. Don't know if I like this. I should have thought of this before I started making a video, right? Alright, we're going to do it like this. Lock assembly, green belt video. So we come from this side. Alright, we can load up the pins as we see them. So you gotta remember, your left becomes your right and your right becomes your left if you're looking from behind like this. And yeah, so it looks like that. It looks like the first one is this left side is the closest to the edge. So go ahead and start with that guy. So, and that's pin 1, the furthest one away from us. So go ahead and put that spring in there. And pin number 1. Actually, before I do all this, I want to absolutely make sure that I got this construction bitting correct. So that's in there. Left side number 1. And number 2. And number 3. Okay, let's see if it's this left side. So with the first key in that I was using, so greasy. Now it's making it so I can't even get it in. All right. So with this left side in, I can see that both of those are too deep, and so definitely 2 and 3 pin, not 1 and 2. So let's move this to 3. Pins 2 and 3 are definitely the construction ones. And you might also want to make sure, you know, take your other pins and make sure they're in the right spots. I'm not overly worried if I screw it up. It's like if I screw it up and the key doesn't work, I'll just pull this out and I can gut it from the back. So it's not very worrying if you get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure I have it right. So I'm going to proceed. Normally I would test it a lot more, but since we're on video and I don't want to use all the time in the world, we'll just proceed. So I got that first spring in there. The only thing we have to worry about is that this gap is the only one that we have to worry about. It doesn't let pins fall into that gap. So here we go. Number 1, and it has a little serrated line on the pin. I like the serrated to be closer to the serration to be closer to the key pin, even though I don't think it is an actual serrated or it actually does anything. All right, so that's there. what is this? Is this just grease? Yep, just grease. Put that in there like so. All right, so the first pin's in. I might do this on fast forward, so you don't have to watch me do this 12 times, but I'll do the first couple. Right side, since we're coming from the back, it's the left side. And the tolerance on here is really tight, so I don't think you can even fit a shim between the plug and the housing. Right, that is not left side. Those are the weird ones. So here's the left side. Make sure you're taking the right ones. Oh, another thing is, before I go any further, I don't even think I can stick these pins in from the inside. These pins have to come from the outside, the weird ones. So good thing we didn't get very far, because I have to start over. So let's take that one out again. Take the spring out for it. So these ones have to come from the outside. These three up here. Okay. So this is good to demonstration as well of how to do it from the outside. So we'll see both. All right. So first one drops right in there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use springs that look more mangled than the others for this, for these three. I think that Jim said he had some follower issues and ended up messing up some of the springs. So I'm going to grab any spring that looks a little bit messed up and use it here. And I'm doing this wrong already. You got to put the pin in first because we're coming from the outside. So pin number 1, like so. 2, and these pins are obvious. They got this weird just T-pin shape to them. I'm sorry if I'm not in the middle of the screen. Okay, got those 3 in. Mangled looking guy number 1. And then you see these stick out quite a bit with the pin in there. And then what you got to do is you got to press them down like that. Second one, press it down, slide it in. And if they come sideways like that, you can just do that and it straightens it out. See if we have any others that are kind of mangled. The rest look fairly good. This one might be a little funky, but not much. Get that guy in. All right, so now all the 3 of those are in. And you could have done that for all of them very easily. It's probably the way I'd recommend doing this rather than the way I'm about to do it. All right, so the left number 1 again. Left number 1. Right here. And you can use pinning tweezers instead of just regular tweezers. Like I have pinning tweezers over there, but we use regular tweezers. That's what I usually use, is regular tweezers. And then drop. Oops. All right. Let's get this guy lined up first. And then we'll put this pin back in again for the 7th time. Nope. There we go. Come on. Such tight tolerance that I can't even get the plug in half the time. Once you start getting going, you don't have to worry about the alignment of the plug anymore, and it'll be easier. But right now, it's kind of tough for the first couple pins, probably. All right, there we go. First pin's in. All right, now second pin. I think it's gonna be on the right side. So drop that down just far enough to keep that pin, or not. You want to keep that pin while putting in the other side. Yeah, this is not the way you want to do this, probably. You want to do it from the outside. Actually, maybe I do the first couple from the outside, and then do the rest. Then I have to worry about all those ones again. So I was thinking do the first couple from the outside. That way I don't have to worry about the alignment of the plug all the time. If it were up to me, I would do the whole thing from the outside, but I'm stubborn for the video, and we are going to make it work from the inside, even though it's going to be like a 5-hour long video in 10 half-hour segments, because the camera only records half an hour. You know what? I'm going to not be so stubborn and actually take out some pinning tweezers. That way it doesn't rotate on me anymore. Boom. First one. Second one. Okay, second one is spring. I'm trying to notice when I'm off camera and stuff like that, but it's hard. All right, so this is the right side number 1. This is the spool, one of the 2 spools. This one might be easier to put in with regular tweezers because the pinning tweezers keeps falling to the middle of the pin. Yep, much easier with regular tweezers. Except the plug's not moving now. Alright, that's on. I just gotta get the plug to move and capture the pin. Now that it did, I need to get it to go back out far enough to accept the pin but not lose the other side. Come on. Here we go. Did not lose the other side. Now I got to do the top pin and lose everything. Progress so far. Alright, so you guys get the idea. The rest of it will probably be fast forwarded, or I will finally give up and just go from the outside like I should have from the beginning. But I'm not quite ready yet. Alright, right side. Now that I'm upside down, the right side's actually on the right side. And this one I use the pinning tweezers for. The problem with pinning tweezers is once it falls down, you can't pick it back up again out of the middle there. Right. Frustrating. Nope. Keep thinking I have the plug in, but it's not. Feels like it's in, but it's not. Alright, so the pin is in. I gotta get the plug in to hold it. Like that. Spool. These springs are just really strong and long. Make this a much more difficult process. Okay, spool. If I had a third hand, I could push this spool. Spool is in, but the plug is not in to hold it. Okay, drop the spool on the floor. I am close to giving up and just going from the outside. This spool is not going in, and then I still have to get the top without losing any of this. I'm pretty sure I did the only from the outside last time. given how much difficulty I'm having here. I don't remember it being difficult at all. All right, we're going from the outside. We're going from the outside. Go from the outside. All right, so we got to worry about 3 springs from here. Okay. All right, since we're going from the outside, what we'll do is we'll key up the plug first. Should just cut the whole part where we try to go from the inside and just go straight to this. Yeah, we were going to go from the outside, of course. You can do it from the inside. It's just, I don't know, it's just too painful. You know what I should have done is sealed it up. Get those 3 that have to go from the outside, seal it up, and then do it from, and then do it. But I didn't, so. That one. Yeah, these definitely look like they got divots in them. Like they definitely must be for holding the ball bearings. There's 3 of those. Top. One. Help if you put the key in, the pin in the right way around. 1. Close this key up so we don't accidentally use it. And then the right side. 3, 2, 1. Double check with the key to make sure we got all our bitting right. Then we'll add our construction bearings. Bitting's correct. 2 ball bearings have to go down there. Now what we'll do is we'll load this up into here. Like that. Then we'll go ahead and we will start loading this into the, not like that, not like that. We dropped one of our pins. So just one, just one. Drop that pin again. Okay, now that that's in there, don't drop it again. Start populating it from the outside. Okay, except, good thing to check, they don't line up here, which means that we dropped it in the wrong side. There we go. Now everything lines up. Perfect. Start loading up. This is the right side. Spool. Standard. I like that little serration to point towards the key pin. Top. I'm going to reset the timer on the camera in just a second once I get all these driver pins in. Top. Dang it, why does that keep happening to me? Why you just send this to me, Jim? Why? All right. Construction bearing 3, construction bearing 2. Drivers 3, drivers 2, drivers 1. Okay, everything's there. Now we got to start loading into the housing without letting the if it's locked, then there, so that that stops falling out. Get some driver pins to drop into place. Okay, so we can start loading this into here. Make sure that we are golden. Okay, we are. So we'll go ahead and start loading. It's easier at my desk where I can actually see with my magnifier and all that good stuff. Start loading some springs in here, just like I did before. There's the first one. And I think I had this in a vise before when I did this. I'm going to use the funky springs that I have over here on the weird diagonal area, which is right here. Dope. Reload this right one again. I think what I did before is I had shims from the outside. Oh, I have shims right here. What am I doing? No. Oh, yeah. So shims will fit from the outside. So we can do that. So we'll load the funky ones. No, the shim's not going to work either. Sorry, I'm like, I don't know if I'm on the screen or not. Oh, we're going to pause it. Okay, we're back. Trying to think of how I did this all before. I'm pretty sure I did it from the inside, but it wasn't hard like that at all. So, you know what? I've demonstrated enough here. I'm going to take it back to my office, do this part up, and then we'll go through the rest of the reassembly because this is going to be really boring otherwise. All right, I'll be back. All right, sorry about that. Once I got upstairs and I had my magnifying lens, it only took about 5 minutes to put it back together. Camera is not nice. So now that we have that in there, you can, I'm holding it with my hand because, you know, the thing is loose still. You could take it out, but you can test the key, right, that it works. And then we can assemble it. Oh, if I can get the key to come back out. Everything's a little bit loose, so it's a bit wonky. All right, so first thing we want to do is get everything assembled here on the back. Let's start with this guy around there. At one point you got to put this piece in the bottom of the keyway. I'm pretty sure this goes from the front here like that, so that's probably going to fall out, so it's not that time yet. You put that in before you put on this flange here. When we put this on, right, remember this thing points to right. You don't need to worry about that. You have this little nub here, and that can only fit in the keyway like that. Okay, so that one's easy. It's just a matter of getting it the right way up, right? So you could put it this way, but then you can't see that sticking out part. So that's how you know this part has to go on top, the sticking out part. So there's that. Then you got this guy who I showed you before. You get that spring in there, set it against this. There's like a step down there at the bottom of the step. You do it, push it in until it can drop down, and that might happen to you once or twice while you're doing it, until you get it down like that, right? Then you got these two gears. Okay, one just goes inside the other, and the gap has to line up with that the point on that piece. So like this. There we go. Everything's together there. Now, next step is we can put this piece on top. Flip that over. That post is going to go through that hole there, like that, right? Before you do that, just think for a second, make sure you got all the pieces that go inside. I think I do. So this went on like that. There we go. That's all together. And there was one screw that goes in the back here. Screw that in. All right. So we're done with this side. We flip it over. Remember we had the 2 pins that you didn't have to pull out of there? Oh, there they are. Okay. One of the things that could happen is that this can get rotated while it's apart. So you want to make sure that it's in this orientation, I believe. If it's not right, I'll have to look at the video. I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm pretty sure I didn't turn it at all. Now don't forget this bar on the bottom. And then you can put this flange on here. Make sure you have your 2 O-rings. Got your 2 screws. And these are kind of like the recessed versions. I don't know what they're called. I'm a computer guy, not a screw guy. Whoever the screw guys are. Carpenters, mechanics, I don't know. And get those 2 on. Now is when you can start to feel comfortable that the lock is not going to fall apart on you. So you can do some more testing, right? Yeah, it works. You can see it turns that thing up there, right? Now, hopefully I got that right and didn't mess that up, because we're going to bring in, oh, okay, everything exploded. I'm bringing this part here and zoom out a bit so we can see a bit more. My wife is calling me. Let me pause for a second. All right, let's resume. So a lot of things popped out when I bumped it. Just make sure that all 4 of these posts are standing up. Make sure that this piece, and this is probably going to pop out again as I do it. So this is kind of like one of the last pieces you do. Well, second to last piece that you put together. But I'll put it together for now and we'll let it pop out again. That goes there like that. That almost surely is going to pop out again. Almost dropped that. So now this piece here, right? It's got a nub here. That's for this spring. So I'll take the spring out the way and we'll drop this guy down here. There's a hole here that post goes in. Like that. There we go. The spring that I had is going to go in between that post and this post. So I mean, these pieces all come out, right? So just look at the way I had them on here. But that is going to go between here and there. My hands are so slippery from all that grease. I don't know why they use so much grease. It's crazy. But this is not difficult if your hands are not slippery. Sorry, I'm going to grab a pair of pliers that hopefully won't be as slippery as my fingers. Grab that end one, push that down onto the nub. Okay, now everything is kind of under a lot of pressure. It might flip all over the place. So that has to sink into that area there. See how it wants to pop up? Now that you have everything in place, that's in place, you can go ahead and carefully lower this. There's a post here that goes through the hole. Line that up. Oh, the right way around, sorry. It doesn't go through that hole, it goes through this hole, I believe. This hole right here, middle one. So get that down into that hole and lower the whole thing down without, now the tricky part is lowering this all down without any of those posts falling over or different things. And this latch, remember that black piece, it's got to fit into this hole here. So those are all the challenges. And it's not going down, so something's not lined up quite right. Gotta figure out what that is. What don't we have lined up? This is not seated. See how it has to go there. Try this again. Hope it doesn't pop back out again. It's going down again. so something is not lining up for us. And I'm thinking, what am I thinking? That what we could do is screw this piece down. We're going to lose a lot of pieces while we do this. So we'll go ahead and take some of these things out. These posts, whatever. And we can hold this down. And we can screw this piece in. This might make it a little bit easier. There's a screw here. Actually, this is not going to screw down. This screw goes into that post, so that doesn't help me at all. So scratch that idea. Sorry. Learning as we go. I only did this once before. And the other thing that could be is that this could be lined up wrong. But we can test that. We'll go ahead and, no, see, that works just great. So I'd say that that's probably lined up right. Let's put these things back in. Get that spring back in there. Get that to sit in there. There we go. Whew. Try it one more time. The hole. Everything come down. I'm going to turn this and see. So this is not quite lining up here. Is that the only thing not lining up? Something is not happy with me. What is not lining up? Oh, okay. Remember early on I told you with these things that the more shapely areas stick out, the more machined area sticks out? These are upside down. What do these two pieces do? I have no idea. I think they rotate around this thing here and that just holds it down. But those were upside down, so they're sticking out too far. Make sure those are lined up. Put this back in here again. Where's that hole? Oh, look at that. Now it goes down. Okay, so now this side's down, and this is the this side's down. The problem here is that this guy's latch piece has to go into this square hole here. All right. So to do that, I think last time I did this, it was right here. So where is it? Let's take a look. What am I still? Okay, I'm gonna lose all that. Lost my spring there. Lost my alignment here. Now you can see why I said at the beginning of the video I'd make multiple cuts and steps, because alright, so that had fallen over there, and that's why that wasn't lining up. Alright, now that I figured out that top part, I can have it in this orientation, which is actually better. And get this back in place. Should be right here, but I'm not dropping into place. So this post here has there's a hole in the bottom that it lines with, because it can go, it's going to drop right into there. That post goes in this hole here. Like that. And that should line it up with the bottom. There we go. Spring again. Knocking over all these posts. That spring again. Go. So he's all set. This part here. there. Now the trick is to get this to stay standing. You see how it wants to fall towards me? While I put this piece on. There we go. And now I see it here. It's tilted a little towards me, but this time I should be able to tilt it away like that and get everything to fit together. Whew! Okay. Now, I had this with all the front screws. Screw all those in. And have Jim yell at me for doing so much to his lock. It's your fault, Jim. You sent this to me. Get the 5 of those. Put this back on here. There we go. I'm sure these are a little tight. Not crazy tight. Don't want to strip anything. Just don't want them falling out in transit. And then one more right here. There we go. Three times you can go around. So if you were picking this, you'd have to pick it around, 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 and latch. And you saw how hard it was to move that latch even after picking it. So I don't think anybody's going to pick this normally. But it's the Mul-T-Lock Omega Plus. That's going to be really long once I edit that all together. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Hopefully there was a lot of parts where you laughed at me. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.